We're breakdancing in Cabo, saving marriages and counseling, and spilling people's personal business at public events. Grab your favorite vaginal pink outfit. This is the Married to Medicine Aftershow.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey. Hi, guys.
What up?
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. If you are watching or listening, then you know this is the Married to Medicine After Show. We're talking Season 7, Episode 10, Battle Down South. I'm your host, Alexis Brown, and we're getting into it all tonight. We're talking Toya's dinner party. Contessa and Scott finally went to counseling. Hallelujah. Jackie had a Queen Bee event for her new book. And we got a sneak peek at what's coming on the Cabo couples trip. Plus, we've got some tweets and some juicy news and gossip. But before we go any further, I cannot get into this show without introducing my favorite ladies, my co-host of this show. We're going to start it off with Miss Pietra Elise, who's bringing us the news and gossip.
How's everyone doing?
Hello. Welcome. And we have Miss Brianna Cheyenne.
Hi, guys.
Our tweets for us. Yes. We are so excited. So we just going to get right on in there. Before we break everything down, what did you guys think of tonight's episode?
Tonight's episode overall, it was okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it an okay. I'm not gonna say, oh my god, it was a great episode. It was okay for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It was okay. I'm really anxious to see what else is gonna come with the Cabo trip. So that was kind of the highlight for me.
Yes. I agree. I felt like it was like your typical Married to Medicine episode. We had some shade. We had some funny moments. We had some moments where we got to see the couples either have their issues or on the up and ups. We saw some happy moments as well. So overall, a pretty decent episode. So let's get right into it. We opened up and Toya was having a dinner party, even though she only invited Cecil and Simone over.
With no furniture in the house.
Nothing.
Yeah, and I was going to bring that up. Would you have a dinner party at your new house if you haven't even gotten your furniture?
I'm gonna be honest. I just moved into my new apartment a month ago.
Play New Apartment by Ari Lennox.
Actually, it's a condo, but I'm being
I'm in LA. She got money.
I'm actually being modest. But no, seriously, all jokes aside though, I don't even feel comfortable with people being there and I haven't finished moving in my furniture. So I know when I have a house, I would want people to be there when it's furnished, because what's like coming to somebody's house and you don't really see what it's about, because first impression is everything, right? So when you leave the house, you're gonna have that image in your mind, like even if it's furnished and you're like, oh, like I still gotta get this and that, doesn't matter. Like I want you to be there when everything is furnished and you're able to see the full look.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the exact same way. But I think she made that decision because she might have a certain level of comfortability with Simone and Cecil. So they knew that they wouldn't be judgmental. But trust and believe, like if you're going to see something as amazing as this house, you're going to see it in its full form.
Yeah. That's a really good point, because even in watching it, when at first I was like, why would she have a party if she doesn't have furniture? But then when I realized it was only Simone and Cecil, I was like, okay, well, she's just inviting friends over to the house. And like you said, she's probably comfortable with Simone and she doesn't feel like Simone is going to throw shade. Like, because, you know, these girls will be like, I went to her house. She didn't even have no furniture.
Exactly.
She spent all the money on the house. She had money for the furniture.
Know
like,
because we know.
Look at Heavenly.
Yeah.
Heavenly would be ripping her up.
And I mean,
love Heavenly,
she didn't even
though.
have the pictures up. They still sitting on the floor. So there was a lot of shade that could have been thrown.
Exactly.
So. One thing they did mention at the dinner party is Simone and Cecil announced that they're going to do a couples trip in Cabo. And the first question that they asked is if they're going to invite Quad, and they said that they were. Do you think that it was a good idea to invite Quad, one? And two, do you think it's fair that she is inviting Quad? And I asked if it's fair because she said, oh, I'm inviting Quad because I've been friends with her for years and she's always come on our trips. But so has her ex-husband. And her ex-husband has established a relationship with the husband. So is it fair that Quad can go for that reason, but Greg can't go for that reason?
I don't know. Because Quad, like she said, she had a good attitude the last trip. So if she acted up last trip, I would say, okay, there's no point in inviting her. However, I just feel like it's not the same. It's not a couple's trip. It's not. It's just a trip. It's just a cast trip. So it kind of makes me wonder what is the point of bringing her?
Yeah.
It's not a friendship thing. This is an opportunity for people who are married with serious relationships to focus on each other. So what's Quad just going to be referee?
Right.
Like, what do you think?
I feel that I like Quad being on the trip, and I wish that her ex-husband was on the trip because at the end of the day, and I know it's bad to say, but it's one of those things where we know Married to Medicine with them being a part of it. Now I get that we switch people out, we get new people in and all that stuff, but if she's going to be a part of the trip, just like you said, it isn't fair to her ex-husband to not be included as well.
Right.
I feel like they would have a lot to offer on a couple's trip, although they're not an official couple, because you have to understand, sometimes you learn a lot about a couple more through a divorce than you do with people happily together. True. So for me, on a couple's trip, they can offer a lot of advice to the married people that, other people can't, because they're in a happy marriage. Everybody's in that honeymoon stage and all this stuff. But somebody that's going through a divorce, they were still a couple, and they have a lot of things to offer that can be beneficial to a healthy relationship, that can probably help prevent a divorce. And I feel like that is positivity and something that you can bring into any relationship, because if somebody is giving advice to how you can keep a relationship healthy and together, things they may have lacked in and failed at that they can offer a friend, I think that's beneficial and is worth being on the trip for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily agree that Greg should be there. I just don't think they're at a good space yet where they can be on a trip and congregate together and it be an okay trip. It seems like there's still tension there, but I do feel like, well, maybe, out of fairness, because Greg can't go, maybe Quad can't he go either. Well, I mean, I would think they just wouldn't want them there for the sake of there's being harmony on the trip.
Yeah, I
because
think it would be full of drama.
Yeah, it would make it more drama.
Vote. They should vote who is more, like, I mean, if they can both be on the trip, it's more like one of those things like, okay, do you guys think Quad would be more, or, because honestly, I think where they are, based on what we've seen last, I don't think that they're in a place where they can't be cordial.
But I don't know about that.
But the thing is,
you don't think?
No.
I think they can both be on the trip at the same time and be cool.
But the thing is, the trip isn't supposed to be a rehab or like therapy type of thing for me. It's supposed to be relaxing. So if there's a gamble, 50-50 chance if there's going to be drama or peaceful, I'd rather just go 100% peaceful and just bring one.
But we're gonna bring Quad over him any day because she has more personality and she brought more to the show.
And she's a cast member on the show.
She's a cast
member. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm just thinking, as from Greg's standpoint, it's like, okay, we use the excuse of, oh, this is our friend, and of course she's gonna go, but I was friends with her at the same time. I
don't think
we
he
were
cares.
Friends. Maybe not.
I don't think he cares.
And they probably don't want to have to pay him because they would have to pay him for him to be on the show. But if it was outside of just the world of Bravo and being on this show, if I was Greg, I'd be like, well, dang, y'all basically chose Quad over me, and I thought I was y'all friend too, especially from the standpoint of the husbands, because they were closer to Greg, just like the wives were closer to Quad, you know what I mean? But
yeah, that's the thing of, like, we just don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and I truly think it's a situation where he is informed and asks, hey, do you want to be a part of this episode or not? I don't think they're just full on just including her and not including him at all.
You think so?
I definitely think so, because although she's a cast member, I know that it'll be unfair. I know that talk has been, like, talked about, because at the end of the day, like you said, he is, like, friends with the guys, and it will be a situation where it's like, okay, well, I'm sure, like, I'm more than sure that he has, like, reached out, like, yo, what's going on, if he were interested. But based on his energy and how he was at the reunion, I don't think he cares. I think he's on some, okay, I'm divorced and I'm done with this lifestyle and I'm over it and I'm done and I'm moving on. Because you have to understand, he said a lot about, in the reunion talked a lot about him being a part of a lifestyle that he didn't sign up for. So I feel like that's one of the things where this comes into place, where he's like, okay, like, I signed up to be a husband and not be on reality TV, and he kind of just went with it because his wife was on it. But now it's one of those things where it's like, okay, they're getting divorced, so he doesn't have to be obligated, so he really doesn't care.
It could also be a situation where he might be in a whole relationship.
And that's what I feel.
And it could be, I left that life behind and I just don't want any parts.
That's what I feel.
Yeah. If you all were quad and you were just newly divorced and you were going on there's a trip to go on a couple's trip with people that you've known, all of your married friends, would you go?
And when you put it like that, it does make me feel like
why even go?
If I was that person, and I'm thinking about it, would I go?
I think it depends.
I wouldn't go.
I think it depends on where I'm at personally or emotionally.
Okay.
If I'm secure as a single divorced woman, I would say, okay, why not? It's a trip. But if I was in a situation where it's still kind of fresh and it's an old wound, I would say, you know what, you guys have your fun. I'm gonna go over here and work on myself.
Yeah. And you know what? At first, I was looking at it like, she wouldn't. She can offer a lot of advice, but I'm looking at it from her point of view, where it's like, okay, she's around all these couples. They're happily married.
Her friends.
Everybody's
brought
like
her husband
happy.
around.
And it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm not in a relationship.
Or even if she's not pressed on the fact that that she's not in a relationship right now, I would just be like, what can I do? We're doing all this couple focused stuff and I'm not with someone.
That's true. I never looked at it from that angle. I looked at it from what she can bring to the table as far as offering the other couples.
Yeah.
But in that mindset of her, yeah, she's probably looking at it like, okay, I'm just here because you guys are my friends, but realistically, I have to be over here hooking up with a random guy instead of being in love when all of you guys creating memories.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just wait and see how it's going to turn out with single quad on this couples trip. I know. Speaking of seeing how things turn out and breaking out into tears, let's talk about Contessa and Scott finally going to counseling. Miss Contessa in her heavenly voice. So they get to the counseling, and I thought it was a huge step that they're both willing to go and that they went. But as soon as they got there, Scott left to answer the phone. And we saw that happened in the preview. When I saw it in the preview, I was like, oh my gosh, no, he isn't, blah, blah, blah. But then I remembered he's a doctor.
Yeah.
Do you think he gets a pass for that, or was it completely inappropriate for him to have answered that phone call?
I would give him a pass for it.
Okay.
If there's something dire that I'm calling my doctor directly for, if he told me, I couldn't take your call because I was in marriage counseling, excuse me, sorry, hi, no, that's a no. And it's, and he knows the type of profession that he's in. Contessa's in the same, she said, she understands. So I think he does get a pass.
Okay. Well, if you were Contessa in that moment, or that was a similar situation, would you have been upset that he answered the phone?
Okay. If I was Contessa in that situation, I would be annoyed, but I would remind myself, this is the lifestyle that I got into.
Yeah.
I chose to be with this man. I knew he was a doctor. I know everything that goes on with it. So I would be a little shady, but it's not something I would hold on to and harp on.
Yeah. What about you, Peter? What do you think?
Every time I see them, that maybe it's just me, I just feel like their storyline is so forced that I just feel like, and it's just me, when I look at them, it just seems like everything is, okay, now walk outside, your phone is ringing. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but when
a producer calling him and be like,
I really do, because I've been a part of the reality, thing, so I know what goes on, and when I see them, it's just like, it's just not believable.
Fishing for a storyline.
And maybe it's me. So viewers, maybe it's just me.
Yeah.
But when I look at it, it's one of those things where she's talking and it's like, and then conveniently he walks out and she's like, oh yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. And the therapist's like, Yeah. It's just like, it doesn't seem believable. And from the beginning, if you guys look all the way back to the episodes when she came home from school and didn't ask him, have my kids eaten, and she bought all this McDonald's and just showed up at the house with all this McDonald's and he had already eaten. I'm sorry, but a healthy couple, it's like, hey babe, what you doing? What the kids doing? Have they eaten?
Well, I don't think
they're natural thing.
I don't think they're in a healthy space now, though. And while I do think this whole her just out of the blue going to grad school was kind of just fishing for a storyline, I do kind of see where there's a disconnect in their marriage.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I see that, but I don't. It's certain things where I'm just like, it's not believable.
Yeah.
But to answer the question, if it was believable, if my husband was a doctor and I would be understandable of that because I know his profession and I understand as a wife, you never want to be the nagger that's always nagging about something, complaining about something.
That's how you lose them.
Exactly. So I understand that. So understanding that, I would never be like, oh, so you on the phone? Because it's like, yo, it's work or whatever. And now it becomes a problem like you're nagging me and not only are you nagging me, but now I have to look at you for trust because you don't trust that I'm genuinely walking out only for work. If it was something other than work, I don't feel like he would have walked out. Gotcha. So if I have to look at it from that point of view, then that's my take on it.
I actually kind of do feel you when you say, like, not so much the phone talking thing, but in the therapy session, Contessa was saying how he always does this, and I always feel like I'm not a priority, and stuff we hadn't necessarily heard up until now. I thought the only issue within their marriage was the whole situation with her leaving to go to school. So it made me wonder, was it these issues that they had in their marriage that kind of made her feel like she needed to leave and go somewhere else, go to Tennessee and go to school? Or is it just that because they already have these issues, things that she may have not even realized that she felt before is kind of coming to the surface?
That could be it too, because they do always say like distance makes the heart grow fonder, but it also can cause a lot of animosity within an already struggling relationship. So these big decisions, and then we always see her kind of blaming him why she quit. So that's just a cherry on top. So there's constantly something coming about that's new in their relationship that we never heard before. Like the whole thing about, I don't remember the last time we hugged. And then his thing is more on the communication end. So it's like, are you guys making this up as you go along?
Yes.
It's just really weird.
Yes. Yes, I do feel like, and honestly, I have to look at it like this. They are a new couple, so they're getting used to the reality life. They're trying to figure out, like, you know, things. But I just feel like at the beginning of everything, you should have known and been truthful, because that's the whole point of reality TV. It's supposed to be your reality. This is supposed to be like your real deal life. So at the end of the day, before even getting into the show aspect, you should have known, you know, areas of which we have problems in. This is what I'm going to showcase to the world. This is what it is, and go from there. But like you said, it is a matter of, and I feel like they're forcing it. Every episode is something new. I don't know if they're trying to just get the fans involved, they're trying to spark the conversation or what it is, but it's like, at least with certain people that we feel are genuine, at least they have a storyline that's, number one, believable, and two, something that we can follow from the beginning, where, not saying things are not going to change along the way, but it's like things make sense. We're like, oh, I'm happily married, now I had a miscarriage. That's a change in relationship, but it's still believable. Versus all these ups and downs with them is always like,
I think it
really?
Also comes from the fact that if you don't have much of a personality, you have to. Because Contessa is very dry as a person. I cannot imagine myself sitting there really being intrigued by something.
Oh, she wasn't dry on that first episode, baby. She was coming for Toya.
Yeah. She has her moments where she has her moments.
But consistently, it's just kind of like, okay, Contessa, all right, next storyline. But compared to, but look at Heavenly. Heavenly doesn't have to play this, I'm having trouble in my marriage, I'm having a health scare.
She's just her.
She's just her, and it's still entertaining.
Very good point.
That's true. But like you said, she has a personality. So it's like, girl, you funny. And it ain't even drama or anything. It's just like, that was funny. So I get it.
One thing that was a little, not crazy, but I was surprised that he said it, is Scott basically took 100% fault for the whole situation with her dropping out of school. Do you think that was fair? Do you agree that it's... I mean, we only see what they show us on TV, so we don't know what's going on in their household. But to me, I don't think it's fair for him to take 100%. Y'all
Absolutely
agree?
Not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I don't think that it's fair for him to take it, because at the end of the day, she made that decision. She wanted to do what she wanted to do. And I don't feel like, based on what we've seen, that he's ever been unsupportive. At the end of the day, this man was here taking care of your kids, making sure the house was held down when you was away. That's very commendable, because most men would not do that.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, very quickly, I just kind of want to just bring it up off of that point is, you know, we say, oh, she left and it was only a year-long program. And do you feel like because it was her trying to go to school and not him trying to go to school, it was kind of like, oh, you can't hold down the house for 1 year type of situation. Because I feel like women do that all the time. Men go on to do their thing. But when the woman tries to do it, the men can't handle the workload of being at home and dealing with the kids. Do you think it's fair from that aspect?
No, because I feel like no matter what, a man is always going to complain. Because men don't like change. They like routine. Yeah. So when there's a sudden shift in responsibility that puts more load on their plate, they're going to freak out. But they're going to handle it. Because if you're a real man, that's what you're going to do when you signed up for marriage and you signed up to be a father. So I feel like Scott would have been more than capable to take care of the kids. I think Contessa was more, and we hear her say it too, she was more obsessed with the fact that she just doesn't want her kids thinking that she abandoned them or she's leaving them behind. That's why I don't think it's fair for Scott to take 100% of the blame, because it's more Contessa's conscience that brought her back home.
Yeah, that's a really good point. All right, before we keep going, Bree, do you have a message for our viewers?
Yes! Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in faithfully every week to us on AfterBuzz TV. Not just for Married to Medicine, but all of the amazing shows we have here at the show. We want to say make sure you follow us on our social media pages, like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you give us 5-star ratings if you're listening to us on iTunes. And we just really appreciate it. We read all the comments, and we want to hear what you guys love about the show, what you might not love, what we can improve upon to make it a great experience for you. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. And if you are in the live chat right now, talk to us. Let us know where you're in there from. Yeah, let us know if you agree or disagree, what you're thinking about the episode. We'll have it up and we see it, and we like to shout you guys out. So make sure you all get going in the chat. Did somebody say something after I said that?
Ryan.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Ryan.
Yeah,
Thanks
our
for
producer.
tuning in.
Yes. All right, let's move on to Jackie's Queen V event. She's having an event to celebrate the book about her vagina, which I actually kind of interested in reading about. Nobody knows a vagina more than a gynecologist. She has to literally know everything about the vagina, and I'm sure she probably knows a lot more stuff about vaginas than I do. So maybe knowing that information will help a lot of people.
You got your vagina pink on right now.
I know, and I was just about to ask you guys, what to you is vagina pink? What shade of pink is vagina?
My vagina pink is very, very light pink, but it's different pink for every woman.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like...
Heavenly said hers wasn't pink at all.
Yeah, hers is brown.
That's not a cute vagina pink, but whatever. Like...
I was thinking like a
brown?
lighter pink, like a not blush, but like a light pink.
Like a powder pink.
Yeah.
I don't even know about powder. It's just
like
light.
This color.
No.
That light. That's almost white. There's something wrong with your kitty cat.
One thing
my insides is this color.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna judge nobody's vagina. I'm gonna read Jackie's book, and because maybe everybody's got different color pinks.
Y'all trying to? I'm Creole and light skinned.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, Mariah said. I mean, not Mariah. Heavenly said Mariah wore a bright pink because she has an infection. So I guess you agree. The brighter the pink,
girl,
the more likely you have an infection.
So
no, because mine is a rich pink.
What's a rich?
Mine is rich.
What's a rich pink?
What does that mean?
Is it a hot pink?
It's no, not hot pink. Now that's an infection. But mine is I don't know the word flavorful, but
a flavorful rich pink.
It's like
sounds like a candy.
Candy.
We gotta pull up that
Starburst
pink. I need to know that pink. That's like a light pink.
Yeah, I think Starburst is probably
a
like
mix of a Starburst cherry and a Starburst strawberry. It's like rich in color, and when you see it, it catches your eye.
I love this conversation. Let us know in the live chat what color vaginal pink is. Or
what color?
Pink.
Let us know in the live chat what color vaginal pink your pink is.
Your pink.
Yeah, because I guess everybody's pink.
Because we want to know
what's your
everybody's pink.
All pinks matter.
All pinks matter. Put that in the comments.
All pinks matter.
All pinks matter. All right, so let's talk about this event. So Jackie's having an event for her book. As we mentioned, she was doing a really great speech empowering women and just kind of putting out that you're not alone if you have issues with infertility. And in doing that, she was like, Buffy's infertile. And then everybody just pauses and makes these faces. And Buffy looked mortified, and I felt so bad for her. I already know the answer to this question, but for the sake of discussion, was Jackie wrong for putting Buffy's business out in front of everyone at a public event?
Here is the thing. Even though Buffy tried to save it and say I had very surface level conversations, at the end of the day, it's still very personal. Unless Buffy was someone who was very open with it and talked about it to everybody and screamed it from the mountain high.
Not the mountain.
Even Jackie still should have actually asked her if it was okay, but it would be a little bit more understandable.
Yeah.
Buffy is very new to the group. And so I just can't fathom what in her mind said, say this.
Yeah. I would think just as a doctor, you know not to put that type of information out. Like, even if she's not your patient, you know if that was your patient, you have that patient confidentiality. You can't put that out about them. And that's for a reason. If it's that reason, then nobody would want... Unless you, like you said, she's really open about being infertile. It's something that she always discusses. But this is something that the group barely knew.
Right.
So to put it out, not only in front of that event, but they're taping for the show as it's happening, I can only imagine how Buffy is feeling. What do you think, Beatrice?
So I think this, when it comes down to Jackie is the peacemaker. She is who she is when it comes down to being supportive and there for her friends. But when it comes down to confidence, I don't feel like Jackie is 100% confident in herself. She's been through a lot. And when you are dealing with a woman like that who is not 100% confident, when you're discussing sensitive topics, when you're throwing yourself out there, bringing other people in makes you feel like, I feel like made her feel like, okay, if I throw somebody else out there, it's like, okay, it's just not me suffering from the topic that I'm talking about. So it's like everybody's not looking at me like, oh, it's like, okay, there's somebody else they can shine the light on. Somebody that's confident can get up there and talk about their situation, and it's like, I don't care how somebody looking at me. This is my story and this is what it is. But being that I don't feel like is 100% confident in herself. It was a matter of, okay, I'm sharing my journey and something that I've been through, but as well as, oh, this person right here has been through a similar situation or, worse or better or whatever.
Or you're a gynecologist. I'm sure you know many cases. You can be like, many of my patients suffer the same issues.
I do feel like that's where the doctor in her came out, because it's like, okay, I can't throw my patients under the bus, but this is somebody that is my friend and has been somewhat open to the group about what they've been through. So let me just talk about it. Do I feel like it was right? Absolutely not.
No.
Because for me, as a friend, outside of everything else, the show and what you're talking about and whatever, that is private information.
Yeah.
And whenever I feel like I want to disclose that, that's when I'll tell everybody. But I feel like Buffy was a good friend for not being like, you know what, that's messed up and making it a big deal. She was like a good friend for, it's like, I kind of have been talking about it, and whatever. But do I feel like that was right? Absolutely not. And the reason I feel like she did it is for what I said, the lack of confidence in herself.
Interesting perspective. One thing that also happened at the event was, Heavenly was like, oh, I'm so proud of Jackie. She's doing all this stuff. She has her podcast. She has this book. And Simone made a comment saying, oh, Jackie's doing too much. She needs to focus on her marriage. Do you think that was a shady comment? And
of course.
And I'm kind of wondering, what is she even talking about? Because literally before they caught her saying that, they had a really sweet moment with Jackie's husband congratulating her, telling her he was so proud of her. We've been seeing them do really well this whole season, so I was wondering, why is she even saying that? Like, what's happening where she feels like she has to be like, you need to focus on your husband?
Okay, this is why I don't feel like it was that shady.
Okay.
Because let me tell you why. They have had infidelity in their relationship. And so when you're someone from the outside looking in, all you see is cheater, but you're still with him. And so a lot of times people look at it like, oh, your relationship is so fragile. It's like a baby. You need to hover it and nurture it. So someone who doesn't understand the nature of their personal life, they're going to see it and say, she's doing all this work. They're not spending enough time together. She's opening the door for him to cheat again. She needs to do better. And unfortunately for women, we always look at ourselves as the reason why he cheated. And so for someone, like I said, from the outside looking in, they might like subconsciously look at her and be like, well, what could you have been doing that would have stopped him from cheating?
Yeah.
And maybe it was because you're always working. And so that's where I think it may have come from.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess, Simone and Jackie are like genuine friends. You haven't really seen them fall out on the show, at least not yet. So I guess maybe she was doing it more in I'm worried about my girl. She need to do some more with her husband. I don't want to see her go down the wrong road. But the way she said it, it was either like, at first, if it wasn't Simone and they weren't friends, I'd be thinking, oh, she kind of being a hater. Like, why can't you just be happy that she has all this stuff going on? Like, why does it have to be like, well, she need to focus on her husband? But at the same time, and because we haven't really seen too many issues with Jackie and her husband this season, it's like, why are you even bringing this up? But I don't know. I feel like we're gonna see them fall out soon. Not to get into predictions.
The like
Simone and Jackie.
Oh yeah.
Because they haven't fallen out, but I feel like they haven't been as close as they've been in the past. And now she's making comments like this. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how you guys will feel. You guys can weigh in. But if I was Jackie watching that back tonight, I'd kind of be like, yo, like what was that about?
I think it's gonna come up later on in the season. That's why they showed it.
Okay. All right, one more thing at the party, and we kind of already talked about the trip. We're going to talk more about the trip, but Toya made a comment saying we can't call it a couples trip because Quad is going. Is that
Who
right?
said this?
Toya.
She was being shady.
Yeah.
Very
As
shady.
always. But the thing about Toya is she know who to be shady too. Because when it comes down to Contessa, she don't really have much to say.
No, not this season. She
So
kind of knows.
it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm here for Toya, but it's like she knows who to play with.
Yeah.
And when she say little things like that, it's one of those things where she knows where, okay, this person is not going to go as hard on me as this person.
But if you were Quad in that situation, because Quad was sitting there when she made that comment, would you have been like, yo, what's up? Why you make that comment?
I would have been.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Okay.
I wouldn't have, because I would say, oh, you're really bothered. You're bothered as hell by my presence on this trip. So it's something I would just sit, just like she said in the confessional, what's a small thing to a giant?
Yes.
At the end of the day, I just feel like there's a level of
Respect.
So if you're going to sit across from me and make those comments, then if I say something that bark back, it's not a problem, because at the end of the day, I'm defending myself. It'll be different if I wasn't in the room and I couldn't speak up for myself. But if you're going to make little comments, oh, baby, I'm definitely going to say something, because you're not going to sit here and disrespect me.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. The small comment to a giant thing, I get that. I get kind of just picking your battles, but I feel like if Toya continues on making those type of comments, it may end up being a cause of tension with her and Toya.
And the thing with Toya is, what I always see is she always kind of starts stuff, and then when stuff really hits the fan, she's like, oh, I don't know what's wrong with this person.
And then she'll sit back.
I kind of don't know, like, oh, this person is crazy and whatever. And it's just like, no, baby, like, you started everything, and when stuff hit the fan, be ready for it.
Yes. All right. Last thing, they've got a clip of them going to Cabo. We got, them heading there, and when they first got there. The first thing that stood out was the fact that Contessa didn't wait on Scott to go through the pre-check. And Cecil was really like, that's how you know they having issues. But it didn't seem like Scott really cared. At least he didn't show it on the show. And at first, before Cecil even said anything, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But I'm also not married. What did you guys think, though?
I kind of would think it's a big deal. Only if I was married. Like, if you're married and you're on a couple's trip, you're with your couple. That's just like if I was with you and you my homegirl and we going through a pre-check. Naturally, I'm just going to wait on you to be like, okay, let me just make sure she good and straight. Because if something were to happen where your bags have to get checked or whatever, it's like, okay, I'm here, versus just walking on to the gate. Like, so that's just me. So, but at the end of the day, being that they are Southern Belles and they are from the South, one, and two, they are married, it's one of those things where you're going to wait on Bae. So if you're not going to wait on Bae, it's one of those things like, okay, it's independency. It's showing that, okay, we're separate in a way. It's showing that, okay, I'm good, I'm doing my thing, and you doing your thing. And that's kind of a red flag when it comes down to a marriage.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you made the comment about, like, if it was you and Lexi, because when you're in a marriage, that's supposed to be your friend. That's your partner. And so I always feel like no matter how bad it is with my guy, I'm always going to have a united front. You're not going to see me sweat. You're not going to know that we're going to have that big of an issue.
Yeah.
Facts.
Regardless if we're with a group of friends that we trust or not.
Yeah.
So on top of that, if Scott was the one to leave Contessa at pre-check and walked off and met everybody at the bar,
it would have been a bigger deal.
Yeah.
That is a really good point.
She would hold on to it until their next therapy session. She would never let it go. She would talk about it at the reunion. She would talk about it to her father in front of the kids.
At the reunion.
All that stuff.
Especially because she already said she feels neglected by him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a really good point.
Exactly.
Pushing for a storyline.
Oh my gosh. So when they get there, they decide, instead of it being this big argument about who's going to end up with the penthouse suite, that they're going to do a dance contest, which I thought was really cute. And Daddy and Heavenly ended up winning the contest, and they did do a good job. But
I loved it.
But I'm not going to lie, I kind of felt like Contessa and Scott were robbed.
Me too.
Do you think the right person won? Okay, so you agree with me. What do you think?
Don't be biased now. Don't be biased.
I love Dr. Heavenly and Daddy.
Biased.
They were cute, but like Scott did the worm. He was breakdancing.
Yeah.
He looked like he almost hurt his back. Like he really put it all on the line. To
His
get this
phone
world.
fell out. He didn't even stop to pick it up.
Right, and then we already know they're having problems, and they could really use that penthouse suite at the moment.
That's
That's a fact.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
They were robbed. I'm glad we all agree. Okay. All right. Well, that wraps up our show. Let's get into some tweets.
Yes. Shady tweets.
Love the tweets.
Okay, let's see here. We have at Sweetface Dinero said, but did she really try to justify it by saying she didn't mean it maliciously? Lady, you are a medical professional. I am certain that you know how to speak about something so sensitive in a room full of strangers. Jackie was out of order.
We agree, Sweetface
I feel
Dinero.
everybody.
I agree.
Yeah, I think everybody unanimously thinks that.
Yeah.
Then we got, I hope Buffy tells Heavenly this. We got
just said.
New York, the queen of reality television. You should have just sat there and ate your food.
I love that quote. I love a good New York meme. It's always funny.
I know. She's a mood. Always.
Always.
All
right,
What's
let's get to the next one.
What's the next tweet we got here? Okay. Right. Well,
I'm pulling them up right now. Sorry, y'all.
okay, it's cool. But yeah, I feel everybody so far on social media, when I was going through the tweets, everybody basically knew Jackie was just dead wrong for it.
Dead wrong.
Yeah.
And it's no excuse for it. At the end of the day, it goes back to, I'm telling y'all, she lacks confidence. She want to bring somebody else's story in to shine the light on theirs instead of being the focal point.
At Timothy_2 says, Heavenly can't even plan a matching outfit, let alone a trip.
Okay, Timothy.
Timothy.
Yes, Timothy.
With the
Cause
shade.
wait.
That was hilarious. I love that.
Wait. Heavenly is cute.
Heavenly can okay. At Dina D said, I just want to know, was Simone forced to bring Quad on the couple's trip by the producers?
Very valid question.
Listen,
Valid.
I'm trying to tell y'all, I really feel like these producers are very much involved. And
Oh, for sure.
But they're more involved than any other season. And I just feel like a lot of storylines are forced. A lot of things are going on that's boring. So they're trying to spice stuff up.
I also feel like on these shows, they're kind of like contractually obligated to go on these trips too. Because a lot of the time, I feel like, why are they even going? And they go. And I feel like this is another situation.
I don't know, because I know on Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kim would find an excuse not to go on a trip.
True. But for one season, you know, she didn't come back for any episodes after that. And I think it was because it was probably something in her contract that said
Let
she
me just
had
tell
to.
you, they have a choice.
Yeah. We always have a choice.
They have a choice whether they want to go or whether they don't.
It's just if that choice is going to mean you get some suspended for some episodes, or
Right.
you don't get paid
They have
for
a
some
choice.
stuff, or they remove you from the show.
That's Bree said, I'm loving Toya and Eugene's new home. Those
What?
ceilings. We did not talk about the ceilings.
Yeah, we didn't talk about how nice
I don't want to
the house was.
scream that loud in the studio, but let me tell you,
We were praying by
That's
the TV,
my
like,
house.
manifest my life with
that is my future home.
with that 2-story closet.
The closet is all I
Forget
need.
about that. The
ceiling.
entrance.
Yeah, it was a beautiful
The
house.
foyer was amazing.
Let me tell you this, Toya and Eugene. It was worth the wait.
Yeah. I just need them to get some furniture because it was a beautiful house and their furniture was pissing me off.
Yes,
it was worth the wait.
That would have been the icing on the cake if they had the furniture together.
Yeah.
It was really worth the wait.
All right, let's get into news and gossip.
All right. So for news and gossip, I just want to let everybody know it is Dr. Heavenly's 49th birthday. So we have to all tell her happy birthday. Maybe give her a shout out on Instagram or something like that. Hey. She's doing her thing. She went out last night with the girls. She celebrated. So she is doing her thing. 49, she looks good.
She does look good.
I'm just
49.
letting you know.
Happy birthday.
And Dr. Heavenly celebrated her new book cover release. So they all went out. All of the girls went out. They celebrated her for her new book cover release. And lately we've had a BravoCon 2019 where all the girls were featured and they were there taking pictures and having a good time. So that's the latest for news and gossip.
Yeah.
I've been seeing everything on social media from BravoCon. I wish I was there. It looks like it's so much fun. I'm glad they're doing that now. So yeah. Shout out to all of our Bravo peeps.
Shout out.
Yes. All right. Let's quickly get our predictions.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I don't think that Contessa and her boo gonna be on next season.
Really? That's a big prediction.
That's just me. I just feel like everything is stretched. I feel like everything is forced with them. And unless they get things together, I don't think they're gonna be back because it's like they're not really interesting. Mm-hmm. They're not really, and to be honest, I really haven't seen a lot from Mariah. Now I know I got a lot of backlash from people saying, "Oh, she's the one that produces the shows," but let's be real, she's not bringing anything to the table as far as storyline. I haven't seen anything about she and her husband, so that's my predictions. Mm-hmm.
My prediction is that Buffy and her husband are going to hit a really big speed bump because they keep on bringing up this she wants kids thing and he's chilling without them. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to build up into something very dramatic. Yeah. And I also think that Quad might go on a couple more dates. Okay. I think she's gonna explore that.
I want her to.
Yeah, I want her to.
I want her to too.
I kind of wish that she had somebody to bring on the couples trip with her.
Me too.
It didn't have to be a husband. It could just be a guy.
Just anything.
Something.
A couple. Yeah.
My prediction. I actually think that Contessa and Scott are gonna do good on this trip, and it's gonna bring them closer together. I think they just need time away from the kids, away from their problems, and hopefully they can use this trip to actually do that. Mm-hmm. I'm anticipating a lot of drama with everybody on this trip. I know we're definitely going to get some drama with Buffy and Jackie, and it looked like Jackie was getting kind of saucy. Yeah, with Jackie's usually the more calm one, but it looked like she was ready to turn up too, which I don't understand because she was in the wrong. But we'll have to see what happens with that, and I'm just anticipating some more fun. I'm excited they're on a trip.
Yeah, I love when the husbands are incorporated.
And nevertheless, I want Contessa and her man to get it together, but it's like, first of all, you have to like somebody before you be intimate and really get into the marriage. So I just don't even feel like they like each other at this point. So
they'll get there. Yeah, it just takes time. Marriage, it's up and down. Sometimes you like them, sometimes you don't.
Quick shout out to Sharatera chose Jay's satire in the live chat. Just wanted to say that real quick.
And Ryan. And thank you to everybody in the live chat for watching. Thank you for everybody who's maybe watching it later. Leave some comments. Let us know what you think. Before we get out of here, ladies, let the world know where they can find you guys.
My name is Pietra Elise, and you all can find me at Pietra Elise TV on all platforms. That's PetraElise TV.
You can find me on Instagram at IamB_Cheyenne, CHIANNE.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at IamLexiFierce. That's IamLexiFierce. And until we meet again, buzz you later.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.